In a remote valley, surrounded by high mountains and dense forests, a man walked in search of answers. He had left behind the chaos of the city, following rumors of a wise man living in seclusion. With each step, the landscape became wilder and more mysterious until he finally arrived at an ancient stone temple hidden among the trees. As he approached, he saw a man in simple robes sitting in front of the temple, deeply focused. The scene seemed like something out of a legend. Intrigued, he decided to approach and, with a mix of curiosity and respect, asked, "Do you live here alone? Don't you miss having company?" The man slowly opened his eyes, revealing a serene gaze, and calmly replied, "Yes, I live here in peace. Solitude doesn't scare me, it teaches me." Perplexed, he continued, "But how can you find peace being alone? In the city, I'm always surrounded by people, but I never truly feel at peace." The wise man observed him closely before responding. "In solitude, we find ourselves. Here, the silence speaks to me more than any crowd. And you, what are you seeking?" The man hesitated but felt compelled to be honest. "I seek to understand how to live without fearing solitude. I always feel lost when I'm alone." The wise man nodded as if he had expected this response and said, "Solitude is a mirror that shows us who we really are. When you stop and listen, you begin to understand your true needs and desires. Peace isn't in the absence of people, but in harmony with your own mind." Curious, he asked, "And what have you learned about yourself here, far from everything?" The wise man smiled slightly and replied, "I have learned that true companionship is within us. When you know yourself deeply, you are never truly alone. And that, my young friend, is the key to finding peace anywhere." Those words resonated within him, awakening a deep desire to discover the inner peace the wise man had found. With the serenity of someone carrying centuries of wisdom, the monk began to share his teachings. The first blessing of solitude is the efficiency it provides. When we are alone, we can perform our tasks with more precision and speed. Solitude focuses our mind on a single purpose. When we are with others, our energies scatter like leaves in the wind, but in solitude, they unite into a powerful force. The man, intrigued, asked, "What is the difference between loneliness and solitude?" The monk replied, "Loneliness is when you feel sad and isolated, even when you are with others. Solitude is when you are alone but at peace and content. Loneliness can be painful, while solitude is a choice that brings clarity and focus." The man reflected for a moment and then asked, "How can solitude make us more efficient?" The monk explained, "In solitude, where everything is silent, you find a special strength. Without distractions, you can concentrate better and accomplish amazing things in less time." The man was fascinated but still had doubts. "What about creativity? How does solitude help with that?" The monk smiled and said, "The second secret of solitude is creativity. When we are alone, our mind is full of new ideas. Great inventors and artists like Einstein and Da Vinci found inspiration in solitude. Being alone gave them the space to think and create." The man, impressed, asked, "So being alone can really make us more creative?" The monk nodded. "Yes, and it's not just the great geniuses who benefit from it. In solitude, sensitive people find a refuge for their restless souls. For those with unique minds, solitude is a place where imagination flourishes and dreams become reality." The man began to understand but wanted to know more. "And learning? How does solitude help with that?" The monk continued, "The third secret of solitude is learning. Those who venture into solitude absorb knowledge quickly." "Why?" asked the intrigued man. "Because the mind becomes more focused and eager to learn new things. Reading, studying, and experimenting become easier when we are alone and concentrated." The man was increasingly interested. "And happiness? Can solitude bring happiness?" The monk smiled his expression tranquil and full of understanding. The fourth blessing of solitude is true happiness. It's not the fleeting happiness of quick smiles, but the kind that comes from deep within the soul. In solitude, you can find inner peace and discover that happiness is within you, not in external things. The man felt a new understanding forming within him. The monk's words were giving him a new path to follow, one he was eager to explore. Curious, the man asked the monk, "How can someone find happiness alone? It sounds so lonely." The monk smiled and replied, "In solitude, you find secrets that are hard to understand, but very valuable. One of these secrets is the power of being your own friend. When you trust yourself, you discover that happiness doesn't depend on others. It's an inner journey that you take with you everywhere." The man thought for a moment and asked, "And how can I learn to be my own friend?" The monk explained, "Take time to get to know yourself better. Spend moments alone, reflect on your thoughts and feelings, appreciate your own qualities. When you become your own confidant, you realize that true happiness comes from within." The man nodded, beginning to understand. The monk continued, "But there are more mysteries in solitude. People who embrace solitude are not just observers. They learn to listen attentively. While some people like to talk a lot, those who are alone wait for the right moment to speak. This patience makes their words more respected and valued." The man, intrigued, asked, "So, being alone makes me a better listener?" The monk confirmed, "Yes, solitude teaches the importance of silence and listening. When you speak at the right moment, your words carry more weight. People start to value your opinion and respect you more." The man reflected on this and asked, "And relationships? Can solitude help with that too?" The monk replied with a smile, "Yes, solitude is the key to deeper relationships. Some might think silence is a problem, but those who know solitude understand that it's in silence that the strongest bonds are created. When you are at peace with yourself, you bring that peace into your relationships, making them more meaningful. Spending time alone is not just about distancing yourself from the outside world, but a journey to discover and understand yourself." The man looked at the monk and asked, "How can being alone help me understand more about myself?" The monk smiled and said, "In solitude, you have the space to reflect and meditate. Without distractions, you can explore your inner world and gain a deeper understanding of who you are. It's a journey that leads to self-awareness and personal growth, helping you become your best self." The monk smiled and replied, "When we are alone, we have space to reflect and meditate. Meditation is a powerful tool that helps us expand our consciousness and explore our existence. In a world full of chaos and agitation, solitude offers us a tranquil refuge where we can find our true essence and live in peace." The man, curious, asked, "Meditation? That sounds difficult. How can I start?" The monk explained, "The practice of meditation isn't easy for everyone. It requires periods of solitude, mental concentration, and a lot of patience and discipline. But solitude helps us naturally develop these virtues. Think of solitude as the key that opens the door to meditation, allowing you to dive deep into your soul." The man reflected for a moment and asked, "And what happens when I meditate? What will I find?" The monk smiled again. "When you sit in silence, without the masks you wear for the world, you find your true self. All social conventions and expectations disappear, and you are free to simply be. In this state of pure authenticity, you begin to reconnect with the essence of your being. It's an awakening to true self-awareness, a deep dive into your own mind." The man seemed fascinated and said, "That sounds incredible, but also a bit scary. What if I don't like what I find?" The monk responded wisely, "That's the beauty of meditation and solitude. They not only reveal who you are, but also give you the chance to accept and improve yourself. Spending time alone has many benefits for our lives." The man nodded, feeling inspired. The monk concluded with a mysterious smile. And so, the secrets of solitude and meditation continue to echo through the centuries, awaiting those who have the courage to dive into the depths of their own being. Those words stayed etched in the man's mind, and he felt a new determination to explore solitude and meditation, knowing that this path could bring a deeper understanding of himself and true peace. The moral of this story teaches us that in the midst of our hectic and noisy daily lives, it is essential to find moments of solitude. In solitude, we learn to know ourselves better and value our own company. This makes us stronger and more independent, capable of facing life's challenges with serenity and clarity. When we take time to meditate and reflect, our mind calms, stress decreases, and we find an internal source of happiness and peace. Moreover, solitude helps us listen better to others and create deeper and more meaningful connections. When we are at peace with ourselves, we can offer this peace to our relationships, making them more authentic and enduring. Therefore, the message is clear. Take time to be alone. Use these moments to meditate, reflect, and connect with your essence. Discover the beauty of being your own friend and see how it transforms your life. By doing this, you will not only find inner peace, but also enrich your relationships and live a fuller and more meaningful life. Remember, true happiness doesn't come from outside, but from within. Find time for yourself, value your own company, and see how your life can change for the better. If you enjoyed the story and it resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next videos. So, until the next video.